Welcome to the pod. You're listening to another episode of What the Reality, and we are back with another Toxic Tuesday episode. This episode, we are breaking down all of the Love Island discourse. I'm super excited to be recapping this because it has been so fun to watch as someone that has no stand. And yes, I am here for it. We're getting into that Real Housewives of Atlanta, Rhode Island, leading up to this season finale coming up. And we have to talk about some reality topics, from Cassie Ventura dipping out of the US to Spencer Pratt losing in LA. Welcome to the pod. You're listening to What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts. We are back with another Toxic Tuesday episode. You guys, I am so excited to talk about Love Island USA because I have opinions, controversial opinions. Atlanta was honestly okay this episode. Rhode Island was cool. Watch Weapons Live was really good, actually. Southern Hospitality, we're going to talk about it, but we have so many reality topics to really get into before we even talk about the Love Island of it all. But we will definitely be talking about Love Island. I'm going to start recapping Love Island on my TikTok. I'm feeling so much better. My voice, though, is like in and out, probably because I was outside over the weekend. It's like I've almost lost my voice, but I haven't lost my voice. It's just like scratchy. It's just like always something with the voice. But we are back with another episode. We are back in the building. I guess for like reality topics, like first of all, there's just so much going on. I cannot wait to talk about Love Island. But before we even talk about that, we have to talk about the reality topics. So Cassie Ventura, obviously we know her and the whole Diddy thing, has apparently fled the US to go live out of the country. We don't know what country she's living. I don't think we'll ever know what country she's living in. I think it's good we probably won't know what country she's living in. But I just thought it was really interesting that this is now coming out now. So obviously she took that $20 million settlement from Diddy and then she's like dipped out. So it's like honestly an article from Page 6 saying Cassie Ventura has left the U.S. and has no intention of returning to the country, according to new court documents. She said, I reside outside of the United States. I do not intend on moving back to the United States. So that can be honestly anywhere. She could be I was about to say Atlanta. She can be in Canada. She could be in the UK, like the Europe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she could be in the islands. I do know she has like a very young family. So obviously she's somewhere that, possibly has a really good school system. I could see it being Canada. I can see it being obviously somewhere in the islands. Europe has a really good school system. She could be in Africa. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know where she's at. I think it's good that she's not going to disclose where she's at because we don't know what's happening with the whole Diddy thing. And my biggest fear with the whole Diddy thing and her taking a settlement was, for the longest, what does this mean for her safety, especially when he's out? Because he didn't get that much time given the whole case of everything. So I was genuinely really scared. I was just like, what does this mean for her? Like, will she be safe? I don't know. So I think that was interesting. That was something that came up, obviously, on the news desk over the weekend. Let's get into like this recent beef rapping drama. Okay, so obviously Latto just dropped her album Big Mama. We know Latto was pregnant. She did the Kylie Jenner route. She did the Kylie Jenner route. She hid her pregnancy. She didn't hide it. She's just like in hiding. She didn't hide her pregnancy, but she was in hiding, whatever that means. She decided not to show the world she was pregnant. However, she was like working on something during this time. She thought, I'm going to drop an album. I mean, I haven't listened to the album. I made a TikTok about this. I'm not the biggest like Latto fan because it's like, as someone that did used to watch her on the Rap Game, and then just seeing her like in her rap career, I'm just like, what are you talking about? She doesn't really have much to really ever talk about when it comes to her rap career. And it's always about 21 Savage. I always said her music is super male-centered, male-focused. I feel like I've talked about that on one of my episodes. Either way, I made a TikTok because I'm just like, when it does come to discourse, obviously I'm going to talk about it. This is what the reality. And so basically, I was just saying, like, it's like the diss for me literally failed. Like, so she does mention Cardi B, like, going off and like honestly, like disrespecting her. So basically, we remember last year, there was some audio lead, Cardi B going off, calling Latto a P, because she like forgave Ice Spice and like all this stuff, and like, and now she's like on a song like Ice Spice, like she was just like, and then you want to compare me to Latto, la 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 la. So now Latto retaliated in her album, basically saying like, you know what, talking about you get yourself Birkins or whatever, my man can get me a Birkin. It was something along the lines of that, something that was super male focused. And I was just like, so for you to even diss her, you have to mention that you have a man. And that's why I was just like, congratulations, you have a man. Like, there's a ton of them out there. But I'm like, Lotto's whole thing is the fact that it's like she has a man. And it's like, and I'm just like, that's the only thing you can honestly talk about and, you know, fire back at people for it. I'm just like, why are we always using this as the cop out? Regardless, the fans are taking their sides. They're just like, you know what? Um, people are Team Latto, people are Team Cardi B. What was revealed, Cardi B tweeted, basically saying this long tweet. She's like, you're totally right in how you feel. However, I have tried to reach out to you multiple times since that leaked audio came out. I've reached out to your team. She said she's reached out to her sister, and they have all said you have not been like open to it. Obviously, you wanted to address it on your album, which you're totally right for. But she's like, I don't know how many times. Essentially, I can say sorry, and I was honestly with Cardi B with that. Latto has now went on The Breakfast Club to address the sneak diss, or what people were assuming was towards Cardi B, and she did say it was towards Cardi B. She says Cardi B didn't reach out to her after that leaked audio until 2 months later. Obviously, the tweet I was just talking about, that's when Cardi B was responding to her Breakfast Club appearance. And she just said she didn't reach out to her until like 2 months later, after like honestly embarrassing her publicly. And so obviously Cardi B's, response to that was, because I embarrassed you publicly, I did want to apologize publicly, because she did apologize publicly as soon as that audio leaked. And she was just like, so sorry, like, this had nothing to do with you. I'm sorry, like I brought you into it. And she was trying to apologize. She was very sympathetic on Twitter. And I guess Latto's biggest thing was like, this is like, me and you are actually friends outside of this. Like, me and you actually have a communication, like a relationship. It's not just industry music stuff. So it's like, I understand where Latto's coming from. However, it's like, I understand where Cardi B's coming from, because I, embarrassed you publicly. Let me apologize publicly. And then I guess it took her 2 months. Obviously, Cardi B was pregnant, going through the stuff with Stefan. It took her 2 months. She's like, hey, I am sorry. She tries reaching out to your folks aren't responding. So now you're going to social media, or now you're going to your music. I mean, that's how artists do it. They address stuff in their music. I would just say, if you're going to diss her, why are we dissing her through talking about you and your man? And so that's always been my issue with Latto, is like, if you do want to diss her, I mean, as an artist would, like, this is what the people do. They do typically, like, address the big beefs in the songs. I'm not mad at you for that, but you're not even addressing it. You're addressing it through a man at the end of the day. So I just don't know how, like, they will be fine, you guys. Like, honestly, they'll be fine. Hopefully they have a sit down, a conversation. Latto's a new mom. She says she's super busy. It's gonna be difficult for them to get in the same room. I'm just like, Cardi B has like 4 or 5 children. So I'm like, if she's trying to get together with you, I feel like you should. I just feel like it shouldn't be this deep. Where do I stand on the whole matter? Like I said, I feel like Latto, if you do want to address it, whatever, right? But you can't be mad when she's like, I didn't want to apologize publicly since I embarrassed you publicly, or since I humiliated you publicly, or whatever. Since I did diss you publicly, I was trying to publicly apologize. And essentially that's not what happened. So I don't know. I just feel like they'll be fine. They'll rise from this. These are two. I don't think anything has been done super disrespectfully. I think Latto's probably in her feelings. Like, she said she was pregnant. Cardi B was just pregnant. Like, I just feel like they were all in their feelings. hopefully they'll get past it. What I will say for Latto is like it would be nice to see some versatility in her music that's not always having to deal with 21 Savage. And it's like we always knew it was about 21 Savage, about having a man. It's like everything is so like repetitive and like a man, 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 man. And I'm like, that gets tiring. In terms of her album sales, I don't think they're that great. I'm hearing a lot of mixed reviews on Big Mama. Like people initially liked it. But then they were like, it's very repetitive. Like we're talking about a man. And they said it's like 10% of being a new mom. Like it's very much about like, thank the Lord he got me pregnant. So I don't know. To be that male centered at this age is honestly a shame. It's honestly a shame. And yeah, I don't know. We shall see what comes to that. There is this story where obviously I'm going to talk about Rhode Island. And I was trying to see if I wanted to wait to talk about this situation. There's something brewing in Rhode Island. And it's with Liz and Dino. So Dino is now facing like life in prison. This is a very interesting thing. This is from reality t- reality T. It's saying he's being charged with dealing cocaine. So there's a lot of conspiracy theorists. We don't talk about conspiracy theories on with the reality. I just want to give my opinion and then I give the facts, right? I give the facts and my opinion and some shade after. The conspiracy theories is that Gary, who was actually isn't his name Gary or is it John? Oh my gosh, I get their names so mixed up. They're all like basic names. Who Liz's husband, who was actually at the Watch What Happens Live. I'm going to talk about Watch What Happens Live because who was Liz on with? She was on with Drew Sidora. Drew Sidora got lipo, you guys. That was one of my stories. I mean, she looks good, but like, I literally thought she was Portia. Like the photo I saw of her on Twitter, like I literally thought that was Portia. I was like, I can't believe this is Drew Sidora. Anyway, they were on Watch What Happens Live together. I noticed that Liz's man was there. I think I cannot remember Liz's husband name, but I think it's Gary. Yeah, it's Gary. Okay, so you guys remember there was like this situation of Gary always going fishing for a couple of months. Out of the year, Dina would come in, basically take care of Liz, check in on her as a good friend, as a friend of both of them, and they would go out together and all this stuff. Now we are finding out, according to The Sun, Dino has been hit with 7 felony charges. I don't know if this is because he has been featured on the show or well, obviously not because they had to be, following you for a while. So it can't necessarily be that just because he's on the show, eyes are on him. I do think it is not a smart thing to go on these shows and make appearances when you have skeletons in your closet, stuff that might come out. The Sun is basically reporting Dino has been hit with 7 felony charges. These relate to an incident from November 2021. He and another individual whose identity is anonymous were believed to be smuggling kilograms of cocaine into the state of Rhode Island from an unknown Caribbean island. Dino is also alleged to have been, quote unquote, selling large quantities of cocaine believed to be in kilogram quantities. As such, the 47-year-old has been charged with possessing a controlled substance with intent to distribute, drug conspiracy, perjury, conspiracy obtaining property by a false pretense, and giving a false document to an agent. Dino has a hearing in June. It's June 8th, you guys. And is facing possibly life in prison. I watched Watch What Happens Live just to see if there was any credence to the situation, and Andy did not mention it. I don't know if it was kind of like we're not going to talk about this right now. Maybe we're going to wait until after the trial, or I don't know if this is going to be something safe for the reunion because this is clearly something that's actively happening in Liz's life. I don't know if we're saving this for the reunion. It would make sense that they asked this at the reunion because these reports are kind of like a month old now. And I was just waiting to see when she was on there again. I think Liz is the only housewife that has been on there from Rhode Island twice now. We'll see who's going to be on for the season finale. I have a feeling it might be Alicia or Rula. So I think that speaks volumes as well of like who's on there twice in the lineup for the season, for a freshman season. But I was waiting for this one to see if Andy would address it. Andy did not address it. So I don't know. I don't know. This is seems pretty legit though. Obviously, it's being reported from the Sun, so you have to be like a little careful because the Sun's kind of like, honestly, I hope Jerry's not involved in it, or Gary. Is it Gary or Jerry? I hope he's not involved in it because, or I hope he wasn't in on the scam because he was fly fishing, whatever the heck that means. And Dina would come and take care of Liz. I hope Liz isn't involved in it, but so far their names have not been connected or looked at all. I'm sure their names are being looked at though, because when you're in that close proximity with someone that's possibly doing drugs and all this stuff, or like selling drugs, and you're like friends with them, I'm sure the FBI, Homeland Security, has looked into all of y'all's lives, especially because Liz and Gary have, a weed distillery business. So it's like, I'm sure they're making sure this is actual weed, cannabis, and this is not cocaine, cocina coming in here. I'm sure they've already been looked at. Speaking of, another story that I'm thinking about that I just saw on Twitter that I just have to share before I move on to my next reality topic is this weird thing that came in through TMZ. Real Housewives of Miami star Lenny Hochstein accused of drugging, sexually assaulting women. I'm actually going to pull this story up. As we know, I don't know if I ever gave you guys an update. Obviously, you guys know Lisa and Jody were kind of in the mix of something. She was like accused of planting listening devices in Lenny's car. And while we were on our hiatus from the show, I do think she turned herself in. She had the amazing mugshot that was honestly really good. And then also, we do know what has come from that is that they've settled with the lawyers or with the courts and whatever. And so she won't be looking at any criminal time. It's so funny that now this is going on because now he has this situation brewing with, and it's just like, God don't like ugly. For you to try to take the mother of your daughter, the mother of your kids down to this extreme and try to get her to go to jail for listening devices, I think Lisa was just being nosy, or like, just like, oh my gosh, like I want to see what girls he's talking to, or like, trying to get one up on him during their whole divorce custody, their divorce legal battles. I don't think it was anything that was like, I genuinely am trying to go to jail for something like this. So the fact that he would use that ammunition against her, I mean, I don't like ugly. You're trying to take the mother of your kids down, and now we're having all this information come out. So this actually came in this came in this morning while I was on Twitter. So it says Lenny actually has a quote for TMZ, which I think is like honestly so thirsty. Like, why do you already have a quote for TMZ? He said, I've never drugged or raped anyone in my life. This is an encounter I had over a year ago. There are multiple witnesses. If she believes she was raped, she should go to the police, not try to sue me for money. There's a video of her leaving my home the next day smiling and dancing. That is not the behavior of someone who believes she was raped. So Lenny Hochstein is obviously being accused of turning, this is the words of TMZ, like they always have to add a little sprinkle onto it, a little sauce. They're like, he's being accused of turning a glamorous Miami night into a nightmare, according to a new lawsuit filed by Jane Doe. According to court documents obtained by TMZ, the woman claims the celebrity plastic surgeon lured her to his Star Island mansion under the guise of an exclusive after party, then gave her a drug and sexually assaulted her in the lawsuit. Doe says she was visiting Miami from London in May 2025 when she met a younger man at Sopra Club. She claims he invited her to a private after party on Star Island, but when she arrived, there was no party. The woman alleges Hochstein repeatedly hit on her and later gave her a pill he described as a common sleep aid. She claims she trusted him because he was a doctor and took the pill. I don't care if he's a doctor. I'm not taking a pill from a man. So, like, what? Well, and why are you trying to fall asleep on the island? I don't know. I'm just pointing out some inconsistencies in the story already. I'm just like, why do you even need a sleeping pill? Were you just going to be staying there? Like, uh, I don't understand. And then if he is a doctor, oh, you trust him, so you're going to take a pill. That's not smart. Okay. According to the suit, she backed out shortly after and didn't wake up until the next morning. She claims Hochstein later told her they had sex, despite her saying she had previously rejected his advances. Doe claims Hochstein later told her the pill was melatonin, but she says she remembered what the pill looked like. Researched it online and ultimately concluded it was Ambien. She's suing him for sexual battery and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The lawsuit is the latest legal headache for Hodgson, who spent years battling his ex-wife, Lisa Hodgson, in a messy divorce that played out on both in court in Real Housewives of Miami. So basically, okay, there are court documents. I don't know. Lenny is saying if this has happened, she should probably go to the police, especially we are still under that year. This has happened in May 2025. I think you have that 10-year period to go to the police and like request XYZ and like do this. So he's saying she should probably go to the police if this did happen, if she does believe she was raped. He's saying she was not raped or sexually assaulted, hence why she's just trying to sue him for money. I don't know. All I know is God don't like ugly, and I think Lenny Hochstein is a very terrible man, and I think regardless of the situation, we'll see it play out. Hopefully the justice system does what's right. I mean, hopefully this isn't a woman that's just up on the come up. I do see some inconsistencies in her story, and just some whys as to like, why are you taking a sleeping pill from a man you don't know just because he's a doctor? I don't know. That is very inconsistent to me, but the justice system will do what the justice system does. Speaking of people that should not be sleeping together, I'm sorry for the cue. Like the transition, like we have to talk about Taylor Frankie Paul and her mess of a life. I was someone that genuinely, rooted for Taylor Frankie Paul. I feel like, Secret Lies of Mormon Wives would not be around if it wasn't for her. I feel like the girls really be trying it and, be acting like she's not really that girl or like responsible for Secret Lies of Mormon Wives. Like, you guys have Taylor Frankie Paul to thank for your fame. That aside, she went on TikTok live last Wednesday and basically admitted to sleeping with Dakota. I do think she's still sleeping with Dakota actively right now. Basically admitted to sleeping with Dakota on TikTok live and said that she slept with him 2 days after her engagement to the Bachelorette alum. If you guys could literally get a side-by-side profile of these two men, they literally look like cousins, one well, one unwell. I honestly don't know what Taylor Frankie Paul's issue is. I still think she's sleeping with Dakota. I don't know what's happening with Secret Lies of Mormon Wives. I think it should come back just because there's so much going on. I think they're filming now. I don't know when it's coming back. They've definitely needed the break because they turn out seasons like so fast. But I don't think Taylor Frankie Paul is filming. I don't think anyone really wants to film with her. I think the ladies are sick of her and her lack of accountability issues. I know her and Michaela were just getting into it a couple weeks ago because Michaela's like, it's just annoying being friends with you. Like, how often do I have to tell someone to stop putting their hand on the stove? You're going to get burned. She's like, and she compared it to her skin disease. People thought it was a little tone deaf to like compare, this abuse that Taylor Frankie Paul is going through. But I think I understand Michaela the most because it is exhausting to have a friend that is constantly willingly putting themselves through the rug, through the mud, and it's like you constantly know what the outcome is going to be. What am I supposed to do as your friend? I've already told you to stop talking to this person. You continuously talk to this person. Like, so you are on your own downward spiral of a life. Taylor Frankie Paul admitting, I don't know what led to her leading up to sleeping with Dakota or even admitting this on TikTok Live. But someone was like, wow, 2 days like after your engagement's insane. I don't know. I heard rumors that The Bachelorette is possibly going to be premiering. I heard rumors it was going to be premiering this summer. I haven't heard those rumors in like a couple of weeks. So I don't know. But if it does premiere, I guess we'll see the chemistry her and this other guy had. This guy that looks awfully similar to Dakota, just looks healthy. He looks like a healthier version. But yeah, Taylor, I don't know. I hope she's doing well. I know she just bought a house, her and her mom. I think she bought her mom a house as well. So obviously the money's still good, but yeah. I think her and Dakota are still sleeping together. I think there were some blind items coming in. I think they're still sleeping together. And like I said, people like that, you just really have to let them embarrass their own life. And that's all you can literally do. I don't know why she is so hung up on this man. Obviously, he's the father of her kids, but they have a very toxic relationship. And Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are still sleeping together. But like I said, I only want to talk about what's genuinely happening. Obviously, something that's genuinely happening is Spencer Pratt losing the mayoral weight, the mayoral, the what is it, the mayoral race in LA. For them, the Republicans, the MAGA, to even attempt to try to turn California red, it was just not gonna work. Um, the gag is, I low key just wanted to see it for the plot for him, because I knew he said if he won, he's gonna do another reality show, him and Heidi. So I was just here kind of for the plot to see what the reality show was. Besides that, no, I obviously did not want them to win. He lost to Neetha Raman. And she's obviously Democrat, so I think it's gonna be two Democrats going hand in hand. Like I said, so he was knocked into third place. Now the Republicans, MAGA, Trump is saying that California rigged it, but it's like, no, that's what you guys do. When you don't get your way, you rig it. Obviously, we're living, breathing that right now. Yeah, so I don't know. Is Spencer Pratt leaving LA? Because he did say he would leave Los Angeles if he did not win. So I think that's kind of it. His bid is done, right? I don't know. I don't think he can run anymore. So that's hilarious. Let's talk about Love Island. Is this a safe space? Can we please talk about Love Island? We have some things to talk about. Obviously, this is a spoiler alert. Sean is the first one that has been dumped from the island. I think it was time. I'm very like, I understand single parents need love too. Like, I genuinely know that everyone deserves love, but I do think you should go on dating shows that's the expectation. I think it's really unfair for people to want to date you and then also become a step parent. Like, that's a lot, especially we're going on a fun dating show. Like, these people in bikinis, like, we want to like dance and like, make out, and like, it's like, we want commitment, but it's also like low commitment vibes. Like, I'm not expecting to leave this as a step parent, and I have a nephew, so it's like, I understand the need of, you know, single parents wanting to find love. Like, you know what I mean? One of my best friends literally has children, and like, she wants to find love. I think there should be dating shows for people that are single parents and that want to find love. I don't know why there's not a dating show for that. Did I just give somebody an idea? I literally just gave somebody an idea. Why isn't there a reality show for single parents for dating? We're like, these people are like, for people that genuinely want blended families, that want to blend their families, or for people that genuinely don't mind dating people with children. Sean was the first to be dumped. Do I think he deserved to be? Yes. Who do I think should be dumped next? Corbin. Because, gosh, that man's accent. Let's talk about what's going on. Obviously, the most captivating thing that has happened is Melanie's crash out. They love to mark a girl that is, any sorts of Black or Latino as a crash out. Um, okay, so here's the thing. Was she doing a lot in the conversation with Corbin? Yeah. But I think all the girls they were overly flirty. They're like, what's your type? You. Like, it was just like so cringy. But it's like, it's Love Island. What I like about Melanie is like, she understands this is not Friendship Island. She's gonna do what she wants at the end of the day. And I think she should do what she wants. They said she was leaning to the side. She was trying to lean into him. I read his body language is leaning into Kayda. Honestly, if I'm being honest, like, I think he genuinely was interested in Kayda. He tried that weird hit on her and it didn't work. I really like Kayda. We're gonna talk about Kayda because apparently Kayda be getting the folks together in New Hampshire. Okay. Yeah. Look, was she leaning into him? Yes. We saw that. Right. Regardless, besides that, Beatrice apparently had an issue with that. The only reason Beatrice had an issue with her leaning into her feminine side and really trying to get a date or get a one-on-one with him, it was that wild that they were literally talking to Mel. It's like, can I grab you for a chat? Yeah, but it's like I said, it's Love Island. We're here to find a match, okay? And she said this is her guy to a T. And production knows that. That's why they bring these people in. They get your list together. They're like, we know you like this person. We're gonna bring them in to try to stir some stuff up. We know you're already fragile in your couple right now. Let's try to mix it up. Let's try to do the most, right? That's why they brought Kayda in, you know, and now it's like stirred up something between like the whole Sincere Melanie thing. Beatrice only is like threatened by Melanie pulling Corbin because she wants Kinsey to pull Corbin because she doesn't want Kinsey anywhere near Gabriel. I do think Gabriel quite possibly will leave Beatrice for Kinsey. I foresee that. Gabriel also isn't even there to like get to know any of the girls. He's there to just honestly F. Like if he could F, he would literally F. Like the way he's trying to talk to everyone, he starts taking off his top immediately. I'm like, dude, can you please slow down? Like he's just there to get it popping in one way. Okay, one way. So I think Beatrice is only threatened by Melanie pulling Corbin because she's like, no, save Corbin for Kinsey. Kinsey's single, vulnerable. She's talking about she doesn't have a match yet. Let's get her to couple up with him so she'll leave my man alone. And that's what the only reason they're having beef. And Beatrice needs to be more real about it. So Beatrice then tries to confront Melanie. And it was doing a lot, you guys. I don't know any grown woman that could come up to me and it's like, I just need you to take responsibility for XYZ. Like, I understand taking responsibility, but I don't know what grown woman could tell me besides like my mom or my sister. Like, you need to take responsibility for your actions. Like, who are you? I just met you. Like, who are you to tell me to take responsibility for my actions? That makes no sense to me. Also telling her not to get defensive. I just didn't like how Beatrice addressed Melanie. It was very hostile. There's people on TikTok that are like, Beatrice was right, like she was doing too much. But I was just like, the way she addressed Melanie was completely wrong, completely not okay. And it's like, you don't know me. We just met a couple days ago and you're like, you need to take responsibility. Melanie hit her with the crazy smile. She said, okay. She said, but Melanie already apologized. So I don't, Beatrice was definitely beating a dead horse. Okay. And this is how I know Beatrice not even wanting Mel to pull Corbin was more so rooted in Kinsey pulling Gabriel because she mentioned it twice throughout this episode. Obviously, they're fine. They hashed it out. They had a girl talk. They both apologized to one another. I just think you can't talk to people like that. I even think Anaya and Trinity were like, the way Beatrice came up to you. It was very off-putting, especially if you don't know someone. I don't think you can genuinely be like, you need to take accountability for your actions. Take accountability for what? And then Beatrice says, you've done this with multiple people. Where's the examples? Where's the facts? Who have I done this to? I think Beatrice, like I said, she's threatened that Kinsey and Gabriel are going to click. They have a lot of chemistry, whether he just wants to F her or not. Who knows, right? That situation aside, they've had this conversation. Beatrice has kind of told Mel, like, hey, I'm a little insecure with tapping into my women and my feminine vibes. I actually appreciated the conversation. I think a lot of us dominant alpha women have an issue with that, you know, especially with Beatrice being a champion, a athlete, a Olympian. You know, she said she gets categorized as the man's friend oftentimes. Like, so it's really hard for her to find a partner that's actually going to work. And I think that's why she's like, Kinsey's over here, like just like exuding women, like femininity. She's breast, she's the blonde, blue eyes, you know. And there's a possibility that Gabriel likes her. So I think that's honestly where that came from. I'm glad the girls were able to squash it. Like I said, if you guys are coming here for Stan words on the pod, this is the wrong pod. I'm not tearing down any of these women. I don't know these women unless I genuinely see some behavior I don't like last season, which we're not even going to get into. Like, unless I genuinely see some behavior, I think this season of Love Island genuinely needs to be good vibes. Like, we do not need to be tearing down these contestants. It hasn't even been a week yet. It'll be a week on Tuesday, tomorrow, I guess on Toxic Tuesday. It hasn't even been a week yet. I genuinely don't know these folks. I wouldn't know them from Tom, Dick, or Harry. Okay. So I'm not in a position where I'm like, I've seen this person do this a couple times. This is who they are. I think Beatrice, honestly, like I said, it's a fluke. She was insecure, and we learned that she was insecure because she tells that to Mel. She's insecure about her relationship with Gabriel. I think that is possibly what's wrong with it. Um, what else was I going to say? Moving on from their situation, let's talk about Kayda beating up the girls in New Hampshire. There has been a lot of TikTok circulating that it is apparently big Kayda around New Hampshire. The big one, not the little one, even though she's mighty petite. Apparently, this white girl, we're just going to say it, we're just going to call it how it is, put her on blast. They're saying she's bullying girls, and she thought it was going to go to her favor. She thought it was going to cause like hate for Kayda. This is just like fed a love for her because apparently we are learning that the girl that she did beat up in high school was a racist. And there is evidence now, like even this white girl was asked to go to prom, and the white guy was like, I would ask you, it was those corny racist jokes for prom. It was like, if you were black, I'd ask, do you want to pick cotton? But instead, like, it was just one of those, what is the racist corny joke for homecoming? Like, if you were black, I'd ask, do you want to pick cotton? But you're not, so I'm asking you to homecoming. It was like one of those on the poster board, something super cringe, something that we see in, those college courses of like racism actively happening today, or it's one of those things you see on social media is like racist attempts like constantly. And this, we know this is the girl that apparently she's beat up. So Kayda is big Kayda around the New Hampshire streets, and I'm here for it. I really like Kayda. Kayda and Melanie had some issues going on. I like both of the girls. I think that it is wild that during Melanie's crash out, she's gonna go to Kayda to try to, you know, basically confide in her when it's like, girl, you're just throwing shade at me a couple hours ago, and now you want me to help you and consolidate or to help. Like, no, we're not doing that. And I respect Kayda on standing on business and being like, oop. She's like, I can't really talk about it really. Like she was like, can I please like pull you for a chat? I need someone to talk about. And she's like, she didn't say anything. You know what? I like Kayda. I really do like Kayda. Um Kayda is not to be played with. Trinity and Bryce are honestly not it. I knew as soon as Trinity was on the cast that they were trying to cast another Landria. There won't be another Landria. There won't be another Nick. There won't be another Huda. Just like there won't be another Leah, Serena, Janae. Let's stop it. I knew as soon as I saw Trinity on my screen that they were trying to do the Landria thing. The girl has big breasts. She's super skinny. Like, they were just trying it. I knew when she picked Bryce, they were trying to do this Nicolandria thing. They're trying to get the fans involved in this Trinity Bryce thing, but it's not working because I think the difference is like from the beginning, Nick has had some sort of emotions or feelings towards Alandria, and that was something he was never vocal about, but he was vocal about it in his confessionals. He was vocal about it to some of the guys, but he was never like, he never made a move. So it's like we kind of forced them to do it. We're like, what if, like just what if? And that's where Nicolandria came from. Trinity and Bryce, first of all, I cannot with Bryce's wig. Is it a wig? Is he thinning? I mean, we all are. Is the hair just not growing in the right direction? I don't know. Bryce, I think you're better off just brushing it all to the back and doing it like the super hero, like Batman style. Just brush it all to the back. This Justin Bieber force is not working. It's stiff. It's not moving. I need him to get his hair together. Like, it's honestly so bad. Now, I'm not talking about our Black women's hair, especially your decision to go on there with a curly flip over or a quick weave. I'm not going to talk about our Black women on there and their hair choices. What would I be wearing if I was on the villa? I would probably be with some braids, or I would be in a slick back. I would probably be in some braids, but that's just on period Justine. You know what I mean? I just know how my hair is. So I know it's humid down there. But Bryce, I expected more from you, especially you as a white man. dude, you need to get that hair together. That hair is not it. I'm not here for the fake love story of them. I don't see any attraction between them. I see literally production plants, and I hope they get voted off, honestly, because like they're not moving me enough. Like Trinity's cool and all, but like I'm not about to send these two to like, let's be real. It's definitely giving like Nick and Andrea. Like they're trying it. It's not gonna work for me. It's really not gonna work. Um I have like my bullet points. I'm like, Gabriel just wants to F everyone. We already talked about that. He just wants to F everybody. Sean, obviously first. Like, let's talk about this Casey Anaya thing. Casey pulled Anaya, and I don't know if Anaya was having an off day and we just didn't see something, but he wanted to get off of his chest that he's seen her. She's a valuable woman. She's a dark skinned woman. When he loves melanin, all this stuff. People are like, is it giving performative? I appreciate that this conversation was had, because this conversation isn't talked about enough on screen. It's talked about after these people leave the villa. I don't know if Anaya was having a bad day and Casey was just like, hey, like, I just want to check on you. Like, I know you're like, it was giving like she was having a bad day and we didn't see why she was having a bad day. And maybe he was like, look, I know being a Black woman, you know, you are loved. I thought it was a sweet conversation. I have to see if it's giving performative down the line. Some people are saying it was giving performative. I think the producers cut some stuff out. I think genuinely he was trying to comfort her. Maybe she was feeling a sort of way and maybe she wasn't feeling her best. And, you know, maybe he was just kind of like, hey, I want to talk to you, get your, you know, feed, and I'm trying to comfort her. That's what it was giving to me. But people online are saying it was giving performative, like he's just trying to win. I don't know. I think it's possible that she could have been having a bad day. And he's like, you know what? Let me talk to her and let me, you know, just try to comfort her. I don't know what. Let me not say nothing shady. I like Casey. I really like Casey. If I was on the villa, I would be attracted to Casey. I'm attracted to Casey. I don't want to say anything negative yet, but was the conversation left field? Yes. Do I appreciate the conversation happening though, especially for a full audience? Yes. So we'll leave it there. We're going to keep it cute. I'm controlling it these days. That's my new thing, controlling it. Controlling it. Strongest couple right now is probably Kayda and Zach. Probably Kayda and Zach. I really like the two. I don't mind them. I really like Kayda. And yeah, I think that's the strongest couple right now. Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's move on to from our Peacock series to our Bravo series. I'm going to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta and Rhode Island. Not much happened in for Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't think a lot happened this past episode. There was some weird stuff that was happening though. If I have to say anything about this episode, was that it was some weird stuff going on. First of all, we're leaving off from the whole Shamia and Angela sit down, which I thought they both got the reads in. I was here for the confessionals, the on like the street confessionals, which they used to do back in the day, and I hope we do bring this back. I want to address. I talked about this last episode, I believe. I can't remember. Shamia constantly calling Angela a Bigfoot, a Sasquatch, which is, I didn't even know Sasquatch referred to Bigfoot until Sasquatch became a thing. So basically, Shamia keeps referring to Angela as this Sasquatch, this Bigfoot person. And I'm just confused because I'm like, you guys are like the same size. I don't like Shamia, you are a pretty big woman, gorgeous woman. She got curves for days. You're not Kelly size. I don't know why she's calling her Bigfoot constantly. It's kind of giving misogynist. Like she's like, it's kind of giving man. Like you're trying to insinuate she's a man. I'm uncomfortable with that insinuation. I think Angela's gorgeous. I don't think she's a man. But that's all Shamia really has to offer right now, is like, apparently she's a Sasquatch. Angela meets up with Drew, Phaedra, Portia, and Cynthia at Lake Bailey. They meet Amsterdam. There was a fake report this past weekend that Cynthia Bailey, is secretly married to Amsterdam. I'm not bringing any credence to it because I've looked it up even before I started recording. I didn't see any information that Cynthia is married currently. So I'm but I don't know why that rumor is flirting. Just like there's a rumor flirting that Portia's engaged to Sway. I do know Portia did a carousel of images with her and Sway this past weekend. It's obviously Pride weekend, or it's like Pride, like the first Pride weekend. It's Pride month, and her hashtag was Sway Sexual. Um, but there's fake AI photos that she's engaged. I don't think she's engaged. I think those were fake. And maybe the Cynthia Bailey stuff was fake. But the ladies do meet Amsterdam, at least on screen. I'm sure they've already met him. We do know there's an age gap between them. But is his name Amsterdam or Prince, or is he from Amsterdam and his name is Prince? I don't know what that situation is. Angela's basically giving the rundown of her situation with Shamia, and Portia decides not to even engage in it, which I think is very telling. I cannot wait for Portia and Shamia to have a sit down, and I'm really hoping they both sit there and do it. I don't want anyone getting up from the table. I said you should have brought the moms because it seems like y'all have drama that you can't even move on from with the moms. Like, it just seems like there's drama there from the moms alone. I hope they sit there and they take it, and I just hope that this is something that we seriously get through, because what is the issue? They still haven't had this sit down. Portia doesn't even want to make a look. She doesn't want to be accused of doing anything wrong. So she gets up while Angela is telling this story. And Angela kind of gives the rundown. That was really the scene. I don't like the insinuation, which is something that Drew also talked about on Watch Women's Live with Liz McGraw. I don't like the insinuation that we are saying Shamia is effing these Falcon and Hawk players. I mean, could she have previously? Yes. But also, you can't knock Shamia's hustle. I do think Shamia is someone that's genuinely wanted to become famous for a while, and it's just like wanted everything. She's the husband. She had the career. She worked at the radio station. She's done a lot of um all brow jobs. I can't even say being a cheerleader is a low brow, because you're a cheerleader on a national football, national basketball team. You worked at the radio. I would say it's low brow just because I've worked in radio and I know it doesn't pay much. I know she wasn't getting paid a lot. However, in return, she has become this local celebrity. So maybe they didn't pay a lot in the money financially. She's paid more in a lot of other ways. And like I said, she is a local celebrity in Atlanta. She has a friend group. She's still friends with Candy in the gang. She is friends. She's invited to a lot of celebrities stuff. She is kind of like the Lala Anthony of Atlanta. Shamia is genuinely the Lala Anthony of Atlanta. Lala Anthony is friends with everybody. She's friends from Kim Kardashian, Sierra. Like, she is friends with everyone. I think Shamia is genuinely the Lala Anthony. And I don't like this idea that because she is this local celebrity, and she's in these rooms, that she was screwing, these people on these teams. Possibly beforehand, yes. But do I think she's cheating on Gerald now? No. I think Gerald let her go out, do her thing, be outside. I think it's crazy that I think there is something there that Angela does not like, the fact that her man be outside. And he's like, my man says he see you outside. Well, your man is outside if he sees me, because I am outside. I don't have any issue admitting that. So that's the one thing I will give Shamia, is that I don't think she's screwing these people. I don't think she's cheating on Gerald. I think she loves Gerald. I think she loves the life he provides for her. I think she's scared she's going to lose Gerald if she doesn't give him a baby. But I don't think Gerald's this nasty guy. I think Gerald just don't like his life really on camera. I think he loves her, though. I don't even think he would leave her. But I do think we have to talk about it. There is this thing with men. If they don't have a son, they do feel like they kind of failed. I mean, unless you're Mauricio, Umansky, who I think is like an amazing dad, amazing girl dad. I mean, certain dads is just like don't care, but especially when we're talking about African and Nigerian, Kenyan culture, there is something very much in these African descents that you're not. It's kind of like Asian descent, like they value more having a son. I don't think he's upset because he having that baby on his hip. He take care of them kids. I don't think he's upset that they've only had two daughters, but I do think there's a part of him that's like, dang, I want a son. And you know what? It's kind of like you can't blame him. Like I said, like when I have children, I would want a daughter. Like it's just certain things. It's just like you have a preference. Like you're gonna be happy regardless. But it's like if you they're gonna try everything they can to get that son. Obviously, she's scared to even do it because she didn't know she would have all these complications with Shiloh. Poor Shiloh, who was so gorgeous at the party. But I don't know. For Angela to kind of and she kind of doubled down on it in her confessional. She was just like, I don't like talking about people's marriages, but and she kind of doubled down on it. So I don't know. Like, is it giving? I don't know. I don't like that. And Drew doesn't like it either. So I'm really interested to see Drew and Angela at the reunion because Drew apparently did not like it either. She's like, I don't like talking about like marriages in that way. And then she's like screwing these men. Because I'm like, is she screwing the men? I don't think so. Do I think Shamia be outside though? Yes. But I don't think in a negative way. I mean, she has to love Gerald. She's like literally putting her acting career on hold. So I don't know. That's one thing I'm not really clicking with Angela with. I'm just like, let's not go there because you hate when they say that Charles is out here and now it's like he actually is out here. So that's something they really can talk about because that seems to be something that has genuinely like annoyed you is that he is outside. So I don't know. What is it giving, you guys? Okay, it was something weird that happened in this episode. Like Drew showed up to support Pinky's thing. Like we're now getting the backstory of Pinky. We've been getting it all along, but we know she was like a former producer on the Maury show, the Dr. Maury show, Iyanla, Fix My Life, all this stuff. I think she was like worked in casting as well. So now she's producing her, it's not a biography, but it's like a documentary of her life or like being an entrepreneur. We see Naturi on there, which is like really big. Like that's a amazing actor. So I think Drew, I'm starting to see some stuff with Drew that I'm just kind of like, it's giving like, I understand that she like the best thing I can relate to with Drew. Like obviously, she was a huge childhood actor. She was in a couple of music videos, and the biggest thing for Drew, I feel like her career highlight will probably be the TLC, like you know, biopic. So I feel like that's like the biggest thing she's been in. But for some reason, I don't know. I'm not gonna K Michelle her because I think different strokes for different folks. Like obviously the acting bug is in her, not the singing one. But to see her kind of downplay Pinky's project, it kind of left a nasty taste in my mouth. It was kind of very like, oh, this is lowbrow, don't do this. It was like, girl, you do Tubi movies. Can we actually talk about it? Like you do Tubi movies. I think you could have worked on a project with Naturi and Pinky Cole. Naturi Naughton and Pinky Cole. Like I don't think it was anything to that low brow that you couldn't have done. So her attitude was like, no, you have to send it to my agent. Like I have to do a read through. I'm just here to support you. Well, girl, you shouldn't have came at all because they clearly, everyone in that room, including Shamia, thought you were auditioning. So that left a bad taste in my mouth how she kind of handled the situation. I was just kind of like, Drew, it's not giving. It's giving like I'm up here, you guys are down here. When it's like I think you should be lucky to work on a production with, Pinky Cole because it seems as though Pinky is really around the streets and around the business. Like, you know what I mean? Like she is a well respected producer. So I don't know. I just think that was weird. I don't think she should have showed up at all. If you're gonna if you're gonna show up and be that kind of like snooty about it, I don't think you should have showed up to it at all, is my honestly opinion. So that was kind of weird. I'm wondering if this is going to cause some friction with Pinky Cole moving forward. Pinky seems like the type to kind of let things slide. Um and I really like Pinky. I said it. I really do like Pinky. I'm really enjoying her, but it does seem like she's not the type to like really hold a grudge. So maybe she won't really be that affected by it. Um, we see K Michelle. So speaking of the whole Shamia stuff, Shamia has a birthday party for Gerald, and it was like very, very last minute. The fact that during the point where Angela is literally talking about her run in with Shamia, Angela is talking to the girls back at Lake Bailey. Cynthia and Phaedra get a text that they're invited. The other ladies were not invited. Portia was not invited. Drew obviously was not invited, and Angela. They get a text. We learn that Portia's like, "You're just finding out about this? Dennis was invited a week ago." I don't know why Shamia invited Dennis. So then I'm just like, Shamia, what are you doing? Like, whenever I give her a bone, she just takes the whole damn treat. I'm just like, damn, I don't know why she invited Dennis. That's messy. That is Shamina. That is mean. That is you trying to get a rise out of Portia. If she invited Dennis or is Portia lying? Because I can never tell. I just can't tell. Interesting. So I don't think Cynthia really likes Shamia. I really don't, because she's kind of checked her on a couple of things lately. I just don't think she likes her, and it looks like in the continuation of the next episode, they kind of get into it. Cynthia does not like the fact that Shamia keeps calling Angela Bigfoot, is someone that is a part of the Bigfoot community. Also want to know what counts as a Bigfoot. I'm a size 7.5, obviously, but I'm 5'2". I think it would be weird if I had big feet. You know what I mean? But I'm like, it's big feet for like women like 10 and up. I mean, I'm just like, if you're a taller person, I think it'd be weird if you had small feet. Just like if you're a small person like Kelly, I think it'd be weird if she had a size like 9 or 10. Like, I think that would be weird. But like, also, why do we care what size feet these women have? Like, you're not going to be wearing their shoes anyway. Unless you're like that interested, unless you're like a Marlo Hampton and you're trying to resell your stuff. Like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't know. I don't know. It was interesting. We get Drew and K Michelle part 3. Kate Michelle isn't really wait a minute. I have to talk about Kate Michelle learning about Kool-Aid soaked hot dogs from white men with beards to catch fish. Her and Phaedra didn't catch any fish. Anyway, we get them part 2. So basically, Drew was going to be singing the national anthem at Rich Homie Quan's. Guys, I did not even take as many notes for Atlanta because it was like okay episode. It was like a good episode. So I'm just shocked right now at myself that I'm remembering like all of this stuff right now. So she basically was singing national anthem or the Star Spangled Banner. Is that the national anthem? She was singing that for Rich Homie Quan's, his funeral service. I know he passed away in 2024, 2025. I think it was 2024. And I guess K Michelle was coming also to the event because she's like really close with his family. It's like a big thing, but she wasn't coming directly to support Drew. But yeah, Drew did that. She was shocked to see K Michelle. They were talking, yada yada yada. Shamia basically ends up going to dinner with K Michelle and like sending it to all the ladies. None of the ladies show up besides Drew. And basically it is a scene of tennis, as Phaedra would say. And, K Michelle's not really giving much to Drew. I think she's kind of seeing the bait. Drew's like, I don't understand what your problem is with me. Shamia's like, well, you said she don't belong. And I think it's just kind of like rude to say to someone. But she's like, well, she should probably speak up to herself. Drew is being a housewife. She's like, what is the issue? And just tell me what the issue is. And K Michelle is really holding on to the fact that you were trying to link me with Black. I don't know why K Michelle keeps mentioning Black. At this point, I do think her and Black have had some dealings together. Maybe she did respond flirty back to him. Maybe he's obviously responded flirty to her about her cakes or whatever that she was baking. And I genuinely think she's possibly flirted with him because she's so uncomfortable around Drew so much. She gets up and leaves her Chanel bag at the table and takes off in Shamia's car the car that she got them. Obviously, Shmia eventually gets back up to her and she's like, "Can you please take me home?" And they start singing the Star Spangled Banner while Drew is sitting there. I honestly thought it was a hilarious scene. But like I said, I don't understand what the hostility is between Drew and K Michelle over this whole black thing. Like, there is clearly some hostility, and I'm looking forward to getting to the root of it. I'm looking forward to hearing Black, even though I'm hearing he owes Lala Milan some money. And that is a fact. Lala Milan's like, cool dude. I guess she invested in something and he owes her like $2 million. So I don't know. Are we gonna talk about that at the reunion? Are we? I don't know. Let's talk about Rhode Island. That scene was hilarious, though. This scene was honestly hilarious. Let's talk about Rhode Island before we wrap it up. Rhode Island, the season finale is next episode. It's been an amazing season. This season we see Rula finally in a group scene with the absence of Joellen. Joellen is not welcomed at her home at all. And yeah, so Alicia and Liz do finally clear the air, which I'm glad about. I have made a TikTok about this. I genuinely believe that Liz was off her rocker, but I also do think she was trying to protect Alicia in her image of like, look, you were never homeless. She does clear this up on Watch What Happens Live, and she's always like, my reactions are always knee jerk. She compares it to if Andy was like pretending to be saying he was been pretending to be gay this whole time and he's really straight. Like she said, it just would be a knee-jerk reaction for me to be like, you are not straight. So she said to hear her say you are homeless, it was just a knee-jerk to be like, you are not homeless. I really think this last Watch Women's Live, that's why I always appreciate Liz, because it seems as though she's really good at looking at her actions and being like, you know what, I could have handled this differently, or like, I regret saying it like this. So basically, I've always maintained, I just don't think Liz meant in a malicious way. I think she's like, you're not homeless. The way we think of homeless is like out on the street. Like, I understand what Liz is saying, but it's like also like, don't invalidate your friend's feelings. If she's saying she's homeless, she's homeless. But Liz is saying you were never homeless. Your dad and whatever, they sold the house, but it's like you was able to go live with your grandparents, who is in a very desired zip code in Rhode Island. Like, this house was not small at all. And I'm also hearing a story on Watch Women's Live that essentially the dad and the mom both sold the house and y'all were going to go live with the grandma while you were getting another house built. So what is the story here? Obviously, no one's going to know Alicia's story better than Alicia, but this is the perceived story that the public has, at least, of Alicia and her family. And I think that's all Liz is talking about. Liz is saying that her mom was actually very grateful that she cleared it up on TV for her. And now to watch back and see that she's being caught this stuff, she's like, well, that was interesting when you were like, thank you so much for saying we weren't homeless. So which is it? I don't think Liz is a liar, and I don't think Alicia's a liar. I think it's a form of miscommunication. Either way, they hashed it out at Rula's party. Rula is having an Arabian Nights party. And at this party, Rosie also tells Rula, hey, are you aware of the video? And Rula's like, what video? So we're about to get into the video of it all. Rula is basically like, if there's a video, I have my ways of finding out. This is all leading up to the season finale because it looks as though Brian will be arrested for planting a tracker on Rula's car. We don't know how we got there. Obviously, Joellen was missing from the party because she is kind of a pot stirrer. And what we are learning is that Liz is saying they are not friends. If you watch the after show, she said that it's not my friend. We were never this close friends. I don't know. But I do remember, even from the first episode, Joellen being like, my two best friends are Kelsey and, Liz. But I did clock this whole season that Liz has kind of been questioning Joellen's narrative and her motive this whole time. So I don't know if they were ever friends or if Liz is just like a tough bee and she's like, you were never my friend. Like, I don't know. Is that what it's giving? It possibly, definitely, possibly. I don't know. We also see Rosie and Kelsey finally come together. I think that Kelsey's jealous of Rosie. I'll keep saying it. I do think Kelsey's jealous of Rosie. I think she's jealous kind of her lifestyle. And I will say Kelsey, look, she started off on a high. I know she's the last seat at the reunion, um, on the one side, but she started off on a high, but her storyline really has dissipated since she's not a sugar baby anymore, and she's with this Billy guy who I think is like honestly not cute at all. I think Kelsey can do so much better. I'm very curious to see what happens after these girls' first, time in Bravo, even Bravo kind of alone. And I can even see her and Captain Jason like hooking up. Like, I don't know. I just think once you're in the housewife life, I don't think her and Billy will still be together. I think she's going to have some shot callers in her DMs, even from Charleston, possibly. Those men love to get around. Even Kyle Cook now, who's apparently dating Sally Carson, who I have no ties to the Southern Charm world. I don't know a thing. I know the Bravo Fan Fest is going to be held in Charleston. I'm like, why are we going to Charleston? Southern Charm. They love Southern Charm. I don't watch Southern Charm, so I don't really know. But I'm really interested to see if Kelsey and Billy last, because that just seems like such a very like mismatch relationship to me. It makes no sense to me. But I mean, another amazing episode. This is all leading up to an epic season finale where they're actually going away for their season finale. They're going to be going up to Long Island. So Joellen will be there. Her and Liz will be facing off. And then we also have her and Rolla facing off. So it seems as though Joellen is going to be in the hot seat for the season finale. And I kind of like this idea that they're doing a trip for their season finale, like their literal last episode. And then we're going to go straight into the reunion. Speaking of reunions, very briefly, Southern Hospitality. The reunion was pretty cool. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Besides the folks coming for Molly and Mia, which they tried. I think it's really interesting how we still don't know if Joe Bradley got his D sucked behind a dumpster. We need a clear answer on that. I think Maddie Jaylee still wants Trevor. I don't think she sees herself settling down with Joe. I don't see it happening. I think that she does not see him as a competent man. I think she's lacking that with him. I cannot believe they are still together. That is a couple I cannot believe that is still together. I did not watch in the city. I think I'm gonna wait for a couple of episodes to come out. It's not really keeping me interested. Andy did say that they are going to be having a reunion. The only reason I think they're having a reunion is because the Kyle and Amanda of it all. So they're going to be having their first like reunion for the first time. Obviously, we know the Valley didn't get that, the original Valley, and we also know the Valley Persian style didn't get that. We know that Southern Hospitality. I think they got a clubhouse one. I'm wondering if in the city will be a clubhouse one or like an actual reunion. It's giving an actual like sit down reunion. I think it's because the Amanda and Kyle of it all in the whole West Sierra. They think they're gonna hash that out more. We have our final part of that coming out on Toxic Tuesday. I'm gonna recap it for next Toxic Tuesday, and then like I said, I might be doing an update for what's the reality on what the reality Amanda West Sierra, the updated love triangle. I might be doing a part 2 now that the reunion is fully out and gathering my notes of timelines, since everyone was so interested in timelines. Now I'm interested in learning and wrapping that up with a bow, and obviously even more of that will be coming out within the city. So it might be a while till I even update that one. I'm trying to think of what's like the next topic I want to do. I'm in a new space right now. You guys know I just moved, so I'm just trying to get back into the hang of things. I do want to get back to what's the reality on what the reality. They just won't be as high frequent. I was trying to do it like every other week, like rotating off, but I won't be able to really do that. I'm just trying to like see what topics. The Bethany and Carol one still does numbers to this day, but I don't know what topics I want to do. I'm trying to do more like it just depends what I'm feeling right now. It's so funny because I'm watching Roni right now again. I just had a feeling like to like watch it, but I'm in a new space, so I'm trying to just like get settled into my apartment and stuff, and with my new schedule and with what I want to do. And yeah, definitely expect the Toxic Tuesdays. We're gonna keep those going, but it's hard with what's the reality and what the reality, because I am a one woman show and it's so much research. So that's why I am trying to do like more lighthearted or more relevant themes where it's like, okay, like this is gonna suck all this energy out for me. I'm so behind with my newsletter right now, just with the whole move and everything. So it's just I'm playing catch up right now. And then on top of that, I was sick. But I do want to update what's the reality on Amanda West and Sierra, because we were waiting for timelines and it looks like we're getting those, even though I don't think these timelines are total factual. I think some stuff is actually not factual, but no, I'm really excited to update that eventually. Make sure you guys give me a 5-star rating, leave a comment, all the things. Tune in to my TikTok. I'm going to start posting my TikToks on YouTube. I keep saying that, but the upload time on YouTube is honestly insane. Like, it's like I don't want to do it at all. But I am going to start posting my TikToks on YouTube, and eventually I'll be updating my Instagram. That was like one of my resolutions for the year, and we're halfway through. So it's like I kind of have to start incorporating the Instagrams too. So I'm going to start probably posting just like funny memes and stuff on Instagram and trying to just get back into that, get back into the flow of everything eventually. But soon expect the YouTubes for sure. And I have so much to even update on my Instagram. So it's just a lot going on. It's nonstop. Whenever I'm like, I'm doing so much, I'm like, there's always more you could be doing. Hope you guys have an amazing week. I will see you guys for next Toxic Tuesday. Until then.